My name is Erin Beckloff, and I will be presenting my initial research on why traditional methods, craft-based learning, and hand skills are an essential part of contemporary typography education in undergraduate graphic design programs. The preservation of craft subjects must be a part of learning typography as a complement to digital design tools. As with every aspect of the constantly changing design industry, improvements and adaptations must be made to typography education. Sean Adams, design educator and practitioner, emphasizes the overall integration of historical skills, including issues of structure, form, hierarchy, meaning, and context, balanced with a priority on expression, experimentation, personal understanding, process, and a willingness to be subversive. In the introductory essay to the book, The Education of a Typographer, editor Stephen Heller proclaims, "Type is the single most important graphic design element, and typography is the most consequential course or set of courses a student can take as an undergraduate." Rapid advancement of technology, with the introduction of the computer, design software, and digital typesetting has led to a decreased quality in students' and designers' attention to detail in the usage and application of type. Based on his review of evidence in student designer portfolios, renowned designer, author, and historian Heller believes that typography is simply not taught rigorously enough to achieve the necessary high level of linguistic fluency. Dr. Shelley Grundler, PhD and MA in History and Theory of Typography and Graphic Communication, states that graphic designers must improve their typographic knowledge as there is far more evidence of bad type than of good. And awareness through experience is imperative, and this begins with education. Graphic design students have access to digital typefaces long before they are trained in the principles of design or fundamentals of typography. Just like every other ordinary person with access to a computer, fonts are an expected inclusion and tool accessed freely on the internet or through other software. Our processing of information is under a barrage of messages in the digital age that has opened the door to multiple typographic messages, often being dissimilar or schizophrenic. There's a complexity of form and a relaxing of standards in relationship to letterform design, explains Sean Adams. With these advancements and freedoms, in the digital world, everyone is expected to be able to do almost everything. Most of us know that's not a realistic expectation, but it is the norm, said Canadian type designer Rod MacDonald. The trade of typesetting is gone, and with it, one of the most effective means of training typographers we ever had. Steve Wrigley, head of graphic design at Glasgow School of Art, explains, "The problem is that default settings on the Mac stop students from really looking and making genuine design decisions. The actual restrictions of letterpress can be really liberating." There is an argument for preserving craft subjects, including letterpress, within design curriculum, as they foster immersive learning. The letterpress process is a significant teaching tool that complements and can act in conjunction with computer-based design education, state British design educators Alexander Cooper, Rose Gridneff, and Andrew Haslam in their combined paper and study. They go on to describe how letterpress exists at the intersection between the practice and theory of an otherwise technologically outdated process. Letterpress can be a tool to understand our past, but as a means of critically reflecting upon our future. It's marked a shift in purpose from technical teaching to a tool for investigation and experimentation. Design educator Don McCusker of James Madison University strongly believes that in the technological age, learning from the past requires striking a balance between the two, with a renewed emphasis on the traditional, craft-based learning along with interdisciplinary education. An integration or balance can be achieved through the inclusion of experiential learning, also known as craft-based learning as defined by the Craft Council. Other design educators and practitioners fondly refer to this type of learning as old-fashioned or also trade shop methods. Heller does not support the new pedagogy, rejecting any method that seems antiquated, including the valuable aspects of tradition. He goes on to explain that so-called obsolete handcraft, acquired by setting type the old-fashioned way, actually taught students the idioms and vocabularies of type. He emphasizes that in some schools, learning to draw letters or compose type on a page by hand has been deemed unnecessary, allowing students to bypass basic typographic apprenticeship skills, where they would have learned the subtleties of composition, because they are able to go directly to setting their own type using design programs like InDesign. Historically, an apprenticeship, as mentioned by Heller, ended with the apprentice becoming a journeyman printer or compositor, a well-rounded craftsman with rigorous training in typesetting and a knowledge of the history of the craft. Idealistically, design students should leave their undergraduate institutions with comparable qualities and typographic knowledge. Until roughly the last decade, the design and the production spheres were relatively separate and with clear professional roles. In other words, a designer was not also the printer. The situation nowadays is different, where the maker may be a designer as well, states Associate Professor in Typography at University of Reading, Jerry Leonidas. If the equipment is available, and graphic design or other studio faculty are capable of teaching letterpress either as a part of a typography course or as an independent study or course, the benefits are well supported by hundreds of years of typesetters and printing history. Letterpress as a tool for typographic teaching can assist in providing a complete understanding of typography terminology and reinforces attention to the details of typographic form, states Don. Research into the positioning of the letterpress process within education is pertinent today, as there has been a marked shift in purpose from technical teaching to a tool for investigation and experimentation. Traditional methods, craft-based learning, and hand skills are an essential part of contemporary typography education in undergraduate graphic design programs, and attention must be paid to the revitalization of apprenticeship and trade shop methods for improving the quality of designers' typographic abilities.